What's not disappointing is Tyler Childers. He won an award of some sort at the
Emerging
Americana.
artist.
Yeah, emerging artist. And he was at the Americana Music Awards, and he just came out and he said this awesome thing, which we've gone... Well, I guess I'll say the quote first. Actually, I got to pull it up. But so he comes up on stage and he says
a quote. It exists.
He said some controversial things. He goes on stage and he says, "My name is Tyler Childers. I'm an Appalachian artist from the foothills of East Kentucky, and I play country music. As a man who identifies as a country music singer, I feel that Americana ain't no part of nothing and is a distraction from the issues that we are facing on a bigger level as country music singers. It kind of feels like purgatory. Thank you." And then he just walked off stage, and he was dressed like Colonel Sanders.
Which was awesome.
And so it's... I love it because on this podcast, we've gone kind of back and forth of, do we accept that this is what country music is now, and do we just go down the Americana, Ameripolitan thing? Like, if you listen to our episode where we interviewed Dale Watson, which is still unbelievable that ever happened, we talked about it, and he's just said, I just don't subscribe to that sound anymore because what they call country ain't country, so I'm not going to say I'm a part of that anymore. I'm a part of Ameripolitan. And it's like, I understand that country, the official term, is still owned by the labels, and it just paddles out this bullshit. So you just kind of accept these other terms. But at the same time, Childers is right in the sake of being like, why are we letting them take this term from us? Like, I consider myself a country singer. I sing the music that sounds like what I grew up on. So why are we letting these pop singers take the term from us? And
I feel like both ends of that argument. I agree with both of them. So it's almost like I'm playing both sides and I'm flip flopping or whatever. But I agree. I feel like when Dale Watson says the shit that they're calling country, I don't understand it. I don't identify with it. I'm like, yeah, man. Fucking A, because the shit that they're calling country is trash right now.
Yeah,
but at the same time, I still firmly believe that the idea of country should exist in the sense that it has existed and should exist. And that's where when Tyler Childers says something like that, I'm like, fuck yeah, man, you're right. Like, let's take the name back. And so I don't know what I want because... on one hand, I would really love it if we could really go to the extent where we take the term back and all these fucks that are out here making terrible music are no longer anywhere near associated with the term country. Like, I would really love it if that happened. Yeah. But I don't think it's gonna happen, and I don't think it's realistic to expect it to happen. And so that's where, on the other hand, I'm like, I like what Dale Watson's doing, where he's like, you know what? If you guys want to take this term and fucking ruin it, which is what you're doing, go ahead and ruin it, and we're going to make our own thing because we're still making good music over here, and good music still exists. And so look at all this great music. And that's really, when it all comes down to it, I feel like what Tyler Childers is basically saying is, like, we've got all these people in this room, like the people he's talking to, in this room at this Americana Music Awards, who all make country music. I mean, some of them don't make actual country music. There's a whole variety.
Some are the folky rock.
Yeah, there's a whole variety of music, and I fucking love it all. I really do. But I feel like when he's saying, he's basically talking to those that basically make country music but don't have a place in the mainstream world of country. I like what he's saying, where he's just like, fuck them. We make the music we make. Let's call it what it is. And I really like that idea. But at the same time, I really, really appreciate that something like the Americana Music Awards exists, because they are giving recognition to these artists that otherwise wouldn't have it. So that long-winded rant about I don't know what the fuck, I don't even know where I land in the end, because I like the artists I like, and I like that they like the music that they make, and they think that it's authentic, because it is. I just don't know where we go from here.
Yeah, and what I think they need to do is they need to make just like a quote-unquote Americana radio station up in like the north. Like, obviously down south they have Texas country stations because they have their own charts, and they're lucky enough that they have that.
Spoiled bastards.
Yeah, but up here, they need to make a quote-unquote, like, Americana radio station and play Isbell, Childers, Cody Jinks, like, those kind of artists, and watch the people who leave 95.5 or whatever and jump over to that station. It's going to be a lot more people than they think. I mean, yes, obviously, of course, pop country will stay popular because pop music in general, not even pop country, has always been the most popular genre. It is always what tops the charts. It's rarely, like, it's rock sometimes, it's alternative sometimes, but country rarely, if ever, tops the charts. Like, it's probably been since, like, the 80s that something has topped the charts that was a country song. Like, the billboards, they're not ever going to top it. And the fact that they're trying to peddle this, like, Sam Hunt out to be like, this pop country is what's going to get us out there. It's never going to be a number one song. It's never going to be. But that's what they're trying to do, and that's the reason why they do this, because they think, oh, these drunk sorority chicks are going to listen to our spring break anthems because these guys are hot, which is apparently, you know, a thing to give a shit about.
But apparently they're right, because Luke Bryan is still here.
Yeah, hunting, fishing, fucking every day.
Yep.
But yeah, so yeah, it's really hard to land on a side of this because, like you said, I agree with Childers because we should take the term back. It is country music that they're making. What is on the radio isn't country music. But at the same time, I do see, well, if they're not going to accept us as country artists, we might as well leave and start our own club.
Yeah, because what it comes down to for me is I don't really know where we go from here, but I am really glad that there are all these artists out there making tremendous music, and regardless of what the fuck they call it, I know in my heart that it is country, and if the world doesn't want to accept it as country, fuck them, I'm going to listen to it anyway, and I'm going to listen to the shit that's good, and it's out there. You just got to find it.
Yeah, exactly. My computer is skipping a lot, but it still shows that it's recording, so...
What time are you at? Yeah.
17:27, sorry.
Yeah, I was at 26 and a half, so I think we're good.
Yeah, 34, 35, 36.
Yeah, mine's slightly behind, but you might have just clicked slightly ahead of when I clicked record,
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we should be good.
Yeah, it's just like stopping and then just catching up, but the bumps of me talking are there, so it should be fine. So, yes. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. Because the thing is I'm just happy that they don't give in and say that they're that kind of country and make that kind of country music. Just the fact that they're making the music that it is, I don't care what it's called. Just keep making that good music.
Yeah, I think it's hilarious too, especially because you have someone like Tyler Childers, who you've got Jake Owen covering his songs at a live show, who is a guy who is apparently in this country realm, and he's covering the music of this guy who is fucking great and authentic, and that guy is out here saying, like, no, I make country music. I love all of that because it's like, it's almost like a grassroots movement to reclaim it. And I think Childers is amazing. I think he's getting a lot of recognition. I think there's a lot of people out there who know who he is now, which is really exciting. And I mean, you never know. I mean, the Stapleton thing happened last year, a year ago, a couple of years ago, whatever the hell, when he won all those Grammys and started,
2015 was when Traveler came out.
Yeah, but then didn't he win the Grammys again last year?
I don't remember.
I don't really know. I don't know. I don't really give a shit. But shit like that keeps happening where someone who is truly authentic gets embraced by the world, but it doesn't change the overall narrative. However, I feel like if we keep having these events happen, like a Sturgill and then a Stapleton and now Tyler Childers rocketing up the charts, I think if these things keep happening, there is a chance that the mainstream labels realize that there is a huge market of people who like this kind of music, and maybe they start to pivot back. Because in the bottom line is they all want to make money, and the reason they're making shitty pop country is because they're seeing how much money the pop market is making. So like, let's just dip our toes into there and we'll make a shit ton of cash. I'm thinking if they start to realize how many of us are out here who actually want real authentic country music, maybe there's a chance that some sort of a avenue of mainstream country can be reclaimed. I don't fucking know, but I think there's a chance.
And like, so I don't know if people listening, they saw that tweet that we sent out. Follow us on Twitter. I sent out a tweet I also posted on Instagram, which a bunch of people liked. But the thing about how I went on that tangent when I was on that date the other day, she actually,
if she likes Walker Hayes, I'm not coming to your wedding.
No, she likes rock music. She's big in like Godsmack and Stained and stuff.
Oh, we will get along nicely.
Yeah. But she was talking like, well, like, why do you kind of talk about these other artists then? And I told her, which is pretty much something we've said on this podcast, like, the reason why we do episodes about Jason Aldean or Rodney Atkins or, like, Trace Atkins, like, these bigger named artists, is because these artists, you can tell, especially the ones who started in the 90s or early 2000s, you can tell that they love real country and that that's what they want to make, because those artists still on their... even though their shitty pop songs go to radio, on their B-sides of their albums, there are still good country songs.
Yeah.
But when you listen to people new, like the guy who looks like he's being abducted by an alien, or Smushface, or...
Smushface, Abducted by Aliens, and Tribal Tattoo Man.
Yeah, if you listen to them, like, their albums from start to finish are just shitty. Like, there's no redemption in their albums, and like, there, you can tell that those guys are just in it for the money. And Kevin, you are poor connectioning right now.
Yes.
You back?
No.
There we go. Jesus.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I could hear you the whole time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so I literally said, "What about now?" like 15 times in a row, and you didn't respond. And I was like, "I'm just going to keep saying it."
He was. So
full disclosure, my internet the last couple days has taken an absolute shit at like 10:30 every night, and like fucking died. But it's not 10:30, so what the hell?
Yeah, it's daylight saving times for the internet.
It's daylight savings for Mr. Porn Man.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's 9:30. He decided to do a 9:30 Jack session tonight instead of 10:30.
Gotta bump it up an hour.
But as I was saying before it cut out, I'm gonna just try and see if I can transition that well.
Transition
won't.
Baiting.
So so artists like Smushface, Alien, and the other one, they just put out shitty pop music because they don't have to, because they've entered into country, the quote unquote country scene, when that was already the norm. So they didn't have to start off being like, I cover Hank Jr. and George Jones and Waylon Jennings at bars, because they walk in going, I cover Kenny Chesney, Tim McGraw, and Luke Bryan at bars. Like, so that's where they started. So their albums will never have a hidden gem on it, because they don't have to have a hidden gem, because they grew up on shitty music and joined the scene in shitty music. Whereas Luke Bryan, when he joined the scene, the biggest artists on radio were still George Strait and Alan Jackson. Like, so he was competing with them. And so that's why his music had a steel guitar and a fiddle when his first few albums came out.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's just, fuck those people.
Fuck them all.